Welcome, you pestilential pustules of pugnacious, prattling pansies. This is Dialog Trees. What's up? We're back recording. It's
We're doing it different.
Yeah, we're this is June 20th, 2021, the hellscape of the future. And we're recording our first episode in a while. So we've been playing around with some new format changes. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
It's off to a great start. Bruce already has mustard on his pants.
Yes.
Okay, I changed my pants, but I do have now mustard on my shirt.
Change it on stream.
Okay, so
Get a little titillation in there.
My bread was moldy, and so I had to take the bread off my burger, and then I dropped my burger, and yeah.
Who doesn't check their bun before they?
I thought
It seems like it could have been resolved with so many steps along the process. A plate, napkins.
I had a plate.
You had a plate.
I had a plate. It fell off the plate onto my lap.
Okay, gotcha.
So you need a bib.
Yes.
I need coveralls.
That's just bibs for pants.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I would like to start us off today, and probably take up the duration of the video you're currently watching, with a discussion about.
Maybe start by saying we're gonna have 3 videos. We're gonna try a format of 3 videos where every topic is now its own video instead of a whole long span one. We have more shorter videos
and more views.
But if you don't like the content, the topic of one, you can skip it without having to miss a whole week of videos. So we're gonna see how that goes.
But if you skip it, we hate you. So
Yeah.
And if you don't comment down below, Lexi used the rocket, we also hate you.
Yes, that'll help us. All right. So, for the very first thing that we wanted to chat about, E3 was recently debuted, and all these exciting games came out. Now, Aaron and I had a quick hash out of how we wanted to approach this topic, because he and I were both interested in this. So, Aaron is going to be providing a slightly, let's say, critical view.
My typical negative views of everything.
Yes. And I'm going to try to do my typical positive views of everything, even though I secretly sort of agree with Aaron that it's bullshit. But I'm going to try to pitch it in a good way.
Hopeless views of everything.
That's where the money's at.
Some mystique there.
So, what is E3 good for? I would argue that it's really just about the only huge mainstream event that brings the entire industry together. Game Awards, which we've also talked about on this platform, is a slightly smaller, less beloved feature of the industry, let's say. E3 is a place where developers show up and pitch all these new titles and stoke interest for the industry and build confidence in the health of gaming as a business. And that's really what it is. It's a consumer's expo. It's not for the love of the game itself. It is, a business thing. But it's a business cycle that I think is important for the development of these AAA studios, for these huge games that, need a platform to reach as many people as possible. Now, where's the indie market for that? E3 has experimented with different ways to also showcase some smaller publishers. I think some have been more successful than others. I think ultimately, like other events like PAX or like GDCs are a bit better for showcasing like smaller stuff, but E3 is still available for that. And this specific format of E3 as a digital-only conference was, we'll say, it was
good.
I'd rather have that than a huge conference hall in Los Angeles, but it showed that it was willing to adapt with the times. And you had all the big major studios willing to kind of like do their own conferences and kind of build up their own hype cycles. So you could kind of fine tune what you actually wanted to peruse based on, what studios you're interested in following, what publishers you wanted to chase after. Bruce, do you have a question?
Yeah, well, not more of like something we should add is, yes, it's online, but none of us have ever experienced it as anything but an online showcase. So to the general consumer, I don't know if that's much of a change.
That's true.
Some of the presentations are a little awkward because without like direct audience feedback, things.
Okay.
But
in the grand tradition of things, I should add that the presentations were always awkward with or without an audience.
Giant enemy crabs.
Damn it! I was gonna say it.
There have been some bad ones.
But yeah, for the consumer, I don't think a lot of it changed that way, and I think that's a positive thing. Where it's still like the E3 that we all love or don't love as much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, Aaron, you're just boiling with rage right now. You can't wait to.
No, I'm gonna be super positive for this one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you necessarily need to be positive in this one. You can state your piece, but
no, I think you want me to be.
That's fair. E3 is. I mean, I really feel like I'm completely unqualified to say this because I don't follow anything like business reports. I don't follow quarterly earnings reports. I don't follow stock. But I'm assuming that because E3 is a big staple, that its success is assigned to people elsewhere in the world, that video games as an industry are succeeding, that they are, raking in millions of dollars, that they are something to invest in. Whether or not that's a positive thing is something that we'll discuss later, I'm sure. But for now, I'm trying to put a happy spin on it. It's the equivalent to something like the red carpet gala for all these different video games coming out. This is a moment to just showcase the industry at its finest, shiniest moment and build hype. And hype is fun. Yeah, it's really good. Hype is awesome. Yep, love hype. Never had a bad moment with hype. Nope. Never a bad moment with hype. Yes, Bruce.
I don't want to be the downer, but like I have a question.
Yeah.
Do people outside the games industry care that E3 is going on in order to say, yeah, video games are serious? I play video games. I was playing video games earlier today. Like, I enjoy it. I didn't know E3 was going on until people started posting in a Discord about all the memes coming out of it. Like, that's me as somebody who cares about games and games news, and I didn't even know E3 was going on. And your comparison to like a red carpet gala, or something like the Oscars, that's televised. That's on like mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
E3 is because the gamer space is not mainstream media. It's on new media. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitch. Everything like that. But that's not the same as just like turning on global news and seeing something, or having it plastered all over your whatever news site you go to. Like,
that's fair. I would almost say maybe it's more equivalent to like Comic-Con. In that Comic-Con exists as...
Do people outside of looking for E3 see E3?
I think people see the after effects of it.
Yeah, like
a whole bunch of trailers.
Yeah, the maybe not the event itself, but afterwards, I think it's inevitable if you're in a gamer space to see it. Like I said, it was flooding the Discord. And
yeah, you saw memes and you saw game announcements, so like you definitely see the after effects.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I feel like if I was in the position of a businessman hoping to check out if this games industry is really popping, as the kids say it, E3 would be the showcase that would sway me as to thinking that there is a lot of investment. There's a lot of exciting opportunities in this, because in a way, E3 is sort of a technical showcase. It's a place to revel in where the industry has gotten and where video games can go. We look at all the highly polished trailers and gameplay and think like, oh my god, like this industry can go places. It stokes the imagination, it builds hype, it again builds confidence in the games industry. And I think without some of the coolest E3 presentations we've ever seen, we wouldn't have these demands for products that are pushing the envelope. Because AG3, you're treated to like the newest definition of what's the impossible that we're mastering, the new horizon of technology. And that's kind of cool in its own way. I think back to like the Last of Us 2 footage that was coming out, that regardless of the impact of the game itself, was blowing people's minds at E3 a couple years ago because it was just so finely crafted and the animations looked so good. And regardless of the game itself, like people were in awe that like video games could get to this point. And that was kind of cool to see. You could just talk, Bruce.
I just wanted to make sure, like, I wanted.
This is not a classroom.
Yeah.
No,
You don't have to raise your hand.
I want to talk over you. I'm trying to not talk over you guys because I always am the one who's like.
Yeah, an asshole is the one that talks over people. Go ahead, Bruce.
So
The floor is yours.
I can agree that E3 has a positive impact, but I disagree with what you're saying as it's a positive industry business practice input. I think E3 is all fan service, and I completely disagree that like an investor or like the corporate side gives a fuck about E3. E3 is just to show off a trailer to woo people. You drop your teaser, you drop your flaming Smash Bros sign at the end of a Splatoon trailer, and you win the internet. You, back in the day, show off. I was gonna say you show off like Halo stuff, but Halo was announced at Apple's thing. But then you still, you got Halo gameplay after it came to the Xbox, and then it was like, boom, look at us. We have we're Microsoft, we have a fucking console now, and we bought Halo.
Yeah.
And like you have big moments like that. And that's what the people care about. Like hype is all E3 is good for, be that for better or worse. And that's a great thing because it gets people interested. And whether or not it's a good presentation in the moment, think of all the memes E3 is giving us. Like we said earlier, you're attacked by a giant crab. Oh, it's so historically accurate. The new one was I'm gonna kill chaos. The classic my body is ready. The Reggie Fils-Aimé. Like those bring the community together, whether or not the hype is good or bad. Like having that moment where you all say like, "Oh fuck, that's a new Smash Bros game." Oh fuck, they actually dropped Zelda. Oh fuck, new Mass Effect, like things like that. Plus all the cringy moments that we all love to hate. I think that's the best thing about E3. But the business side, I think, is GDC, Game Developers Conference.
I disagree with that because, as you say, it's all about hype. And what does hype monetize? Pre-orders. And pre-orders have become the point of the sticking point, like for a lot of investors and boards of development at studios, is like, how are the pre-orders looking? Are people interested in this product? That's the motivator. That's the mark. That's the point of success.
Plus,
for a lot of companies.
It's the business side that's spending 3-4 months out of the year planning E3. They definitely care about it.
Yeah.
True. I just meant like future investors. Like, as far as like the tech side and like the big business side, like let's attract big business to us. I think that's GDC because that's where you're going to get more poignant discussion and nuance, and you're going to have keynotes. Like this year, I think it was Devolver. Devolver always has an off the rail, like almost a meme of a press conference, and it's amazing, and nobody knows what to think of it. And this year, they basically just had a panel on like the future of the industry, and that would have been a GDC thing, and they brought it to E3, and That's why people are talking about it. That's why people are talking about Devolver. So they still pulled a classic Devolver move where it's like, let's do something off the rails that no one will see coming and makes no sense, and people will talk about it. But they did something poignant by having a keynote speech. And that's the kind of thing that's going to get the business world after you. It's like, yo, like, this is what we are doing as a having an org chart as a business, versus like, yo, we got hype, so we got pre-orders. Like, they're both important, but I think E3 is just hype, and yes, business comes from hype, but GDC is the professional, like, suit and tie thing, whereas now E3 has changed to be very consumer focused. Back when in the 90s you had to be media to get in, there was no consumer access whatsoever. Now it's full consumer.
And
I don't think that's a bad thing. It just means it's a different thing, and I don't think they've figured out how to do it yet.
It's like pulling fingernails to try to come up with things to say in E3's defense. It's very good for Twitch streamers because they get to sit back and watch a trailer and go, oh.
Unless you're watching Nintendo, in which case they tell you, please do not stream our stuff. You will get banned.
Yeah.
We all need some React Andes in our life.
Yeah. I can remember E3 being a huge thing when I was a kid. I loved it. It was like Christmas. You'd, be ready and watch E3 when you got back home from school, and you get to see all the cool stuff coming out, and just like you were just salivating at the thought of all these cool things that were coming out, and you were like, oh man, this is such a cool time to be into video games. I can't wait to see what's next. And then Watch Dogs happens, and then the Wii happens, and then Anthem happens, and it's very hard to be positive about it.
See, you remind me of that, but like, I was gonna say, when Aaron and I were in high school, I remember a bunch of us, Aaron wasn't in my class, but a bunch of us were sitting like after lunch, our first class, like our third block, we had 4 blocks, in math class, and somebody's like, oh fuck, they just announced Halo 4. And all of us were like, what? And we just collectively lost our minds in like, I don't know, 2010, 2011 about Halo 4. And we're like, this is the best fucking thing ever. Like, no math was done. We just talked about Halo. And that's the thing. So is it that we just grew up and grew out of the hype of like that? Or has E3 changed? And did they make one too many mistakes that we are now jaded?
Maybe, in a way, E3 is positive in the sense that it brings us back to the early and simple days of our childhood, when presents were still wrapped up at the bottom of the Christmas tree, when you still thought it was the Tooth Fairy getting your $20 under your pillow.
How much are your fucking teeth worth, bud?
I lost a lot of teeth in one go. Don't at me. And just like when you still thought that Assassin's Creed was going to be good. Oh, thanks.
He gets to take one of your teeth now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. I think that's about all I have to say on that topic.
I have a positive thing to say.
You have a positive thing to say, Aaron.
No, I actually, every year IGN does a list of like, here's like games you might have missed for E3, and every year I find like 5 games, like at least 5 games I'm super hype about. So, that's a good thing. Like, there's cool games there. Sometimes, you don't get to see them because they're not focused.
The art of a good demo is totally. Important. It is a little. It's a little wounded. I don't know about dead. It's not.
Consumer demos are dead.
Consumer demo.
Bring back demo discs.
Just bring back demos in general.
All right, can we switch over to talking?
In the past, we agreed that Nintendo was doing demos well.
Yep.
Yes.
things we said that did not age well.